pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right. Review and approval of agenda.
I move to approve.
Motion.
Second.
Roll call. All in favor?
Aye.
Public hearing. Site plan for CC Power at Evanston Avenue or parcel 61-11-031-200-0015-01. Anyone here for the public? Come on, if you want to.
Yes, good evening. Steve, I'm doing pretty good. Steve Ellier with West Shore Consulting, 2534 Black Creek Drive. We're here representing CC Power on our site plan submittal that you have before you and help them prepare the application. I just wanted to go over a couple things on the location is basically 330 feet of frontage that's on Egelston Avenue in the industrial district. It's just to the east of the North Woods, what I call the industrial complex, and just to the west of West Michigan Dirt Works, another contracting agency that's on there. It was previously used as, I think, a staging area for like semi-trailers for a number of years, and until CC Power ended up buying it. And it's basically, like I said, 330 feet of frontage. It's pretty much cleared to a gravel lot, the whole width of the property. And it goes back, it's just under 10 acres in size. That's what it extends to the north. It's industrial, I believe, all around us to the east and to the west, and across the street it's undeveloped land that I think is owned by some chemical. And other than that, what we propose on doing is really putting up a 7,200 square foot post frame building that'll also have a number of bays that they can pull in work vehicles to work on. The eastern part of what you see there was going to be used for parking of the vehicles. Some of them have been, you've seen a number of vehicles probably through the winter and last year that was there. They've been kind of scarce the last couple months as they've been on the front line up in Gaylord in the northeast part of the state trying to restore power. I should just mention that CC Power, I believe, is headquarters out of Kalkaska, Michigan. And this will be a staging office for them, but they provide electrical distribution, underground services for both public, municipality, and private companies throughout the state. So their crews are keeping pretty busy right now trying to get everything restored in the northeast side. But yeah, there's a construction trailer that's out there currently that you see. And the asphalt entrance has to be paved according to Muskegon County Road Commission standards. That's on your plan.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing, it'll be hooked up, the building will be hooked up into a public sewer that is in front and along Evanston Avenue. They'll have an on-site well. I think there was an addendum number 2 that clarified the distance of where it would be, and the dumpster location that's to the north. There'll be some security lighting on the building and a monument sign that you see there, an electric gate. The other proposed improvement will be a perimeter security fence around the property. It'll be 8 foot high and kind of built to Homeland Security standards, which I guess they have to comply to, with the 3 strands of smooth wire at the top. And that'll be placed a foot inside the right-of-way and then a foot from inside the property lines on the north, east, and west sides. And then there's electric gate that sits offset almost 55 feet from the center line of Evanston. So other than that, I guess I'll open it up to any questions that you might have of myself or I forgot to introduce Jason Morrison is here. He's the general foreman. They'll be working from the site.
So, you guys currently have that place on Apple too,
That's
right?
correct.
So similar fence to what's there.
The fence that's there were there when we got
Didn't
here,
that have 8-foot fence there or no?
but, I believe it's 6.
Okay.
But it's also got the 3 strands above it.
Right, yep.
This looks more, they say, security-wise, a little more tighter, this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
you
we
have an
can't,
Apple
we
Avenue.
can't put a front fence up
Yeah.
over 4 foot, so
Yeah.
we've had multiple thefts out of both yards.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. I'm glad you're doing that.
I'm not familiar with the fence on Apple. What's this fence gonna look like?
It'll be a chain link fence with the
Okay.
3 wires on top.
I was just
but-
referencing their yard they have now.
Yeah, I mean, I
Apple
didn't,
Avenue.
yeah, I wasn't aware
The
of that.
fence we have now is only on the east and west
Okay.
and the north side,
It's up north side.
because the south side's got a split rail out front.
Mm-hmm. Kind of defeats the purpose of having a nice fence around the whole thing.
Sure does.
That's good.
Would you spell your last name? Is it Morrison?
Morrison.
Okay, Jason?
Yep.
Okay. And CC owns the property or
That is
T5
correct.
Holdings owns the property?
C&L Holdings, I believe,
C&L, yeah.
it's under a holdings, so C&T Holdings.
Okay, the application says T5 Holdings LLC.
Okay.
That's, okay.
Comments?
Is it the intent to keep all of the water on site? Because I'm looking at some of these elevations on the west side and they appear that they're draining from the center of the parcel to the property line, particularly on the west side.
Yeah, I don't think there's not much more than a foot elevation difference between the whole quarter mile in
Okay.
there. And it's existing now. There doesn't appear to be, I went around the perimeter during the early spring to check runoff of what's there now.
Yeah,
I didn't experience any. The road commission had certain parameters that they wanted to see Evanston Road drain back onto the site, and that's why those ditches are there.
okay.
So, yeah, I was hoping there might be a slight grade, maybe still coming towards Evanston from there, but
Okay.
it's, from what I could see, it's not a high water table in that area right now, and it seems to be pretty good sand soils, so,
Okay, so you're confident that there's not going to be any significant runoff
yes, confident on it.
east-west?
No.
Okay.
How soon are you gonna have that building built for the office and,
That's not gonna come real soon.
because you got a lot of high traffic coming through there, I was just wondering.
I was hoping for winter time because of the couple vehicles we have that hold water. We have to circulate them all night long and we're.
'Cause I know you got porta potties out there and you got porta potties out there.
Correct.
I mean, I've watched, it's been growing really steady, quite big, so.
Yeah, I think they have power poles that are out there, but they need to get site plan approval to hook up to electrical power off of Evanston.
Yep.
That was really kind of one of the major reasons why we are here right
Hoping to
now.
put up security cameras and lighting because it looks like we're running into transformers disappearing and copper disappearing and trucks have been broken into and so.
Yes, I understand that.
So the construction trailer that's there now is for use in your operations?
That is correct.
It's not going to be used as an office or anything on site?
There's an office trailer sitting there that nobody uses, just kind of sitting there, but then there's a semi-trailer sitting there that's just holds material.
Okay.
There again, that's been broken into so many times we put stored material on.
I don't know.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
All right, site plan for a 32 by 42 addition at 1070 South Wolf Lake Road or parcel 61-11-028-100-0007-00.
Okay, I'm Jerry Leffering, representing Wolf Lake Community Church. And our usage of it is we basically have run out of space. We're expanding, we're getting more people than we have room. And so, pretty straightforward.
You're expanding, Mr. Leffler, are you expanding north or
We are expanding east.
east? East, okay. Oh, there it is, okay.
So is it proposed use, just from, out of curiosity, is it for the church proper or for offices or
Church proper.
church proper?
Any plans on expanding the parking lot as well?
Up the road, yes. We're hoping to fill it and then be forced into coming back and asking for more space.
That's a good problem to have.
Yeah.
Good.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
Motion to close the hearing somewhere?
I'll move to close the hearings.
Second it?
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comments? Nothing? All right, we'll move on. Review and approval of the minutes from April 1st, 2025. Good. Make a motion.
I motion to approve the minutes.
Second.
A second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reports to the Township Board. You got any for that?
Move to submit our April 1, 2025 minutes as our report to the Township Board.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Reports from the Township Board. On that?
Second.
No, I just,
Oh, I will motion it. I basically got here 30 minutes early, so I read through them already.
no reports. We don't need to make a motion, we'll pass it. Good.
Yep.
Zoning administrator's not with us, so we don't have any reports from him. All right, new business. Site plan for CC Power at Evanston Avenue or parcel 61-11-031-200-0015-01.
I motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And the site plan for a 32 by 42 addition at 1070 South Wolf Lake Road or parcel 61-11-028-100-0007-00.
Motion accept.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to old business. Parks and Rec Plan 2025.
Are we skipping C?
Oh, sorry. C, preliminary special circumstances for application for land split. Kind of looked into that a little bit already. I don't know if you've had a chance to look through it.
I have. Is the owner here?
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
You want us to come up?
What is the special circumstance?
I don't know if you have copies already of what we're trying to do. You already have the copies? Okay.
Yeah, we got a picture
Okay.
of the road and everything like that.
Okay. I'm Gary Pastor, by the way. This is my mother, Phyllis, representing them. It's their property. So.
Okay.
I'm sorry, your name?
Gary Pastor, Pastor.
My name's Phyllis, Phyllis. Same last name.
Okay.
So basically what we're looking to do is there's 6 to 7 acres that they still own that we have an easement that's been there since 91. My folks built on the house right on Wolf Lake Road. Then I built behind them, my brother built behind them. Now they're trying to parcel off, trying to do 4 different parcels for the future for their granddaughters.
Legacy building.
To build in through there as well.
And you guys are the only one on that easement currently, or is it, there's no other?
It's just me and my brother on that easement. My mom and dad have their own easement out to the side. The picture that you have is actually me and my brother's easement.
Okay.
Yep.
And those parcels will be farther back.
Yeah.
Are the surrounding homes currently connected to the sewer?
We are.
they're on Wolf Lake Road, so they're hooked to the sewer. Me and my
Yes.
brother are septic. Yeah.
Are you at 566 South Wolf Lake?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep. I believe they're 568. I'm 566, and my brother's 564. You have this one as well. This is the one that we went over with Jeff Ream.
Yeah,
You have this one as well. Okay.
so that represents the 6 or 7 acres?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep.
7 something,
Well, my mother said it's actually just over 7.
Okay.
yeah.
I don't have my glasses, but it actually,
Yeah,
you can tell me that number. And then this number.
Yeah, so it's 400.99 plus, so here, and it goes up to here, behind Jack's house.
Mhm.
So we have 400.99, and this says 882.34, if I'm reading this right. Or 889, 'cause it goes up behind. And that's 175 across, this one's 300 across.
So about the lot number 1, what's the required road frontage for building? Because we can't split and have an unbuildable lot.
It's 175 foot. It's 170, what we're hoping to do is it's 175 by 433.
That 175 wouldn't touch Wolf Lake Road, right?
No,
No.
there's houses.
There's 2 houses in front of
yeah.
that are on Wolf Lake Road. So basically.
So the road frontage would be the 33 feet.
And the easement. Yeah.
Correct. And that's what we went over with Jeff. And Jeff said that he found a clause in that. I thought he was going to be here tonight. He actually told us he was going to be. He thought he found a clause in that that would basically grandfather that in to the other 3-4 parcels that we're trying to do. And then once the easement went off of that, then he would said then we would be able to go to the 66 foot from there.
But there's no road there now.
Just the easement.
Just the easement.
Just the easement, and then the 66 would go off of that back to the other parcels.
So Jeff told you that you didn't need 66 feet from Wolf Lake Road to the,
Correct. Well, he didn't necessarily say we didn't. He just said he found a clause in his research that would allow us to use that 33 feet to get to the 66.
From A to B.
From A to B.
And then from B, extend it over the 66, so then it would go down. Because right now, down the easeway, you can get a fire truck, you can, an
That's
ambulance,
the picture I sent.
they can all go all the way straight down there with no, because at the end of my youngest son's house, there's enough land back there to where you can do that U-turn. That's back there to go all the way around and come back. So there's no stoppage of anybody going, in case of emergency or anything, straight all the way back. There's nothing stopping it. There's nothing in a barrier, there's nothing, it's straight. As you can see from the picture, you can see all the way straight back to the road if you stood out by our driveway. It's there.
so do you have the capability of constructing the road to the 66-foot requirement from Wolf Lake to the end of these?
From the end of our driveway?
From Wolf Lake to the end of
To get to where we would have
proposed
to
lot
start.
3. Yeah, do you have the capability to put, how much property is there in that?
There is not.
What is it
There
from
is not.
to your
'Cause
side?
All there is the 25-foot easement.
Yes, Jeff came out to actually in March, because I met with him in September to go over what we were looking at. And then when I was in Florida and I came back, I said, I've done everything within my power. You're telling me there's a way I can make this work. I want you to come out show me the way that we can exceed this. Because when we did this, that land wasn't, when we built that house, we said that land was gonna be for our granddaughters to do that. And they said, great. Well, then they changed it to 66. We were not aware of that. So there's a house next door. I can't go. Jeff goes, well, I guess you'd have to go all the way to your house, to my door, my front door, my side door. He goes, but I said, you know, what if we do from A to B, that distance, be able to keep where it's at. Once it gets to B, I'll call it, we then can do the 66 all the way down. So it's only that short, it's a short distance to me, but not maybe to you. But being that somebody can go all the way to the end of that road, my easeway, without any going that far and then going, it's really not an issue from what I see.
There's a big field too between, like a big field in between my folks' house and my house as well, where there's nothing in the way as well.
Yeah.
So if they ever had to turn around, there's a huge field, I would say. It's
Garbage truck goes down
the
there
garbage
and
truck with no
does our
problem, comes
garbage,
down there, gets empties
turns
our
around.
dumpster.
Are you talking about the easement that is currently 25 on the map being expanded to 66? Is that what you're
From
saying?
A to B, I can't make that 66.
Oh, okay.
But, and I call it B only because where the gentleman who owns next to us, he owns that further back. At the end of his property, I call that end B, because A is Wolf Lake, B is the end of his property. Then we can cut over and go all the way straight. And there's the 66. I've got plenty of land to do 66, plus divide this out. I mean, it's just, it would make it happen. And when we talked to Jeff about that, he said, yeah, I think that will work.
I got a question. Have you talked to the fire department and see what they've?
They've gone back there when they did some other trips going there. They didn't have a problem. Have I personally gone and talked to them and showed them this? No, I have not.
Yeah, I'd feel comfortable if Dave Gosbeck or one of those guys would look at it and say,
Okay.
yeah, it's not a problem.
Yep.
They have to approve the site plan anyway.
Yeah, that's true, but,
Yeah.
they'd be comfortable with
But
it.
that's when, I mean, Jeff came out and measured, and he actually walked where we would look to do it, and he says, I don't see a problem. I mean, he can't make comments, but we're just small talking, I'll say, just to see where that could be to go to where we need to go.
Has Jeff provided you with a copy of the ordinance regarding private roads, the requirements?
He's given, I don't know if he's actually given me any written document. From his discussion with he's been talking to my son more, because he would understand a little bit more than maybe I would at this time. But he just pretty much said, from what he looked at, he didn't see major problems, but it would have to go in front of the board to get that approved, to show we could actually have this happen.
Now I'm talking about lot 1. Did he talk about the road frontage requirement for that? I'm assuming the easement's gonna be a road. So, but you need to have a minimum amount. Is that the 66 you're talking about, that road frontage requirement? Because I thought it was like 65 or something for if you have a sewer, and 85 if you don't, if you have a septic.
So parcel 1 wouldn't be on the road. It would be 66 feet going back to parcel 1.
Yeah.
There's 2 houses in front of parcel 1.
I realize
That are on
that.
Wolf Lake Road.
I realize that. But in order to make this lot split happen, they all have to be buildable lots. And it looks like lot 1 wouldn't be buildable unless Jeff had some reason why it would.
Is it because you're saying that it's not big enough?
The road frontage is only 33 feet.
But we can make that more, because if we have to I mean, these lots are 216 across all the way down, and that's 433. That can be adjusted.
Okay.
I mean,
just
we're
don't
looking at
see
this,
it.
I mean, this is a rough draft of
Right.
what we're doing. So this can be adjusted. I mean, 216 is not a bad frontage
No.
You know, that's compared to a lot of what's out in Wolf Lake right now.
Yeah.
So this can be adjusted to fit the need of what we need to do to make that work. So that's not, to me, even an issue on that part.
Okay. I'm just seeing
No,
the
I appreciate
request
that.
and this in front of me, and
Yeah,
I'm supposed to
definitely.
approve
Right,
what I see.
right. And if we could, you know, if we had our, if in an all perfect world, we would like to buy some of this land next door, which would help that.
Yeah.
But right now, because they can't really do a whole lot of building on their land because it's there but we would like to propose something to them on that, which would, that 33 might even go up for, you know, that way. But we can't do anything to approach them until we see where we're at here. That kind of, you know. But these lots this is a rough draft diagram for us.
Okay. So it doesn't have to be, it can be whatever the minimum is.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. To make it work, this is all adjustable.
We're willing to do whatever it takes
Yes.
to make it happen.
Yeah.
I talked to Jeff this morning about this because he told me he wasn't gonna be here tonight. And I didn't get the impression that he thought it was doable. So you're telling me that you got the impression that he told you that somehow he found something that.
Yeah, that's what he
that could
told
make-
me, yes.
That's not the impression I got from Jeff. And in reviewing the private road ordinances today, in preparing for the meeting, I don't see that there's an exception or an exemption that's gonna allow you to do this without satisfying the 66-foot right-of-way from point A to point B. Never mind frontage or anything else.
Right.
So I guess I don't see where there's an exemption that's gonna allow you to do that unless.
So
Jeff-
you're saying I'm landlocked?
Well,
Pretty much.
you're landlocked in terms of being serviced by a private road primarily because there's no road that exists there now.
Correct.
Okay? So in order for you to get a private road before you even do the splits, and in order to get a private road to make those lots buildable.
Right.
So you can get a building permit, you have to satisfy the private road ordinance.
Of the 66 feet?
That's one criterion of the private road, okay? There's a maintenance agreement, there's a road right of way, there's the actual construction of the road, you know, how it's constructed, engineering, that kind of thing.
And he looked at all that.
Okay.
When
and-
he was with me in person, when he walked down that road, he
And-
looked at everything.
And that may very well be. I'm just saying, there's an exception or there are exemptions
Correct.
in the ordinance that allows the planning commission, or I think even Jeff as the zoning administrator, to exempt the development from otherwise what are the rules under the ordinance, okay?
Right.
Extenuating circumstances, in other words. I don't see extenuating circumstances here, and I'm sure since you didn't get a copy of the ordinance, you're probably not even aware that that exemption exists or what you need to show us in order to show us, you know, why those extenuating circumstances exist so that we could exempt this development
Right.
from the regular ordinance.
He
So-
mentioned the 66 feet.
Yeah, and again, that's only
Right.
one requirement
Right.
under the private road ordinance. So, I understand that tonight it's just a preliminary, you're trying to get an idea of, you know, whether or not this is a doable project. You know, at this point, I don't see that it is, knowing just what I know, just based on this one drawing, without you having had a chance to review the ordinance and give us additional information, and without Jeff here to explain what he explained to you.
Have you talked to the owner of 558 South Wolf Lake to see if they?
Not yet.
Okay.
I mean, they're small talk, if that makes sense, just small talk.
Now, lot 1, 2, 3, and 4, or, yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 4, those are on two separate pieces of land, right? They're parceled two different pieces. That's at least what I just seen looking online.
It's pretty much all one here.
It's all one.
It's all one.
It's all connected?
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
on here, it's showing a 1.62 and a and a 1,
This is what I have. So that shows me that that's all one, because we own all of this.
right, but this one here
And this is right
is
there.
400,
Correct.
so 33 feet into this one. So you're crossing a property line here.
Yep.
Okay. So this is the property line for that parcel,
Right.
and this is going 33 feet over the property line.
Mhm.
Which I definitely think there's probably something that has to be done for that.
Well, she said she would be willing to
Right.
add as much road frontage.
Right, but I'm saying you're two separate pieces of property.
Yeah, she'd have to merge it.
You'd have to
somehow.
merge that property.
Right.
Split
to
and then
make it
merge.
work.
Right.
There, and then that's not even. Yeah, so you get what I'm saying there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, my opinion, I really wish Jeff was here tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't even be here if I knew
Yeah.
he wasn't going to be. So
Yeah,
I'll give
I
him a call
understand.
tomorrow.
Yeah,
So-
he told us he would be here.
Yeah.
I think it came up unexpectedly.
Yeah, so
I'm sure it did.
I definitely don't want to make a call without Jeff here, just to
Right.
kind of clear everything up.
Yeah.
What you guys have
His
heard.
exact words when I talked to him, and I talked to his Bambi as well or something, they didn't even think it would go to the zoning committee, to be honest with you. So
Yeah.
kind of frustrated that he's not here, and I didn't know it. I'm sure something came up.
Yeah, yeah,
Kind of wasted our evening as well because we're kind of, you know what I mean?
Right.
So,
Yeah, I think Jeff can actually approve the private road initially, but every private road in Eggleston comes under what's called a special land use ordinance.
Right.
And only the PC can authorize special land use. So at some point, it would have to come back to us anyway. And I understand that doesn't affect you being here tonight and spending your time, but eventually it'd have to come back to us anyway.
Well, it's not a wasted visit on my part.
Okay, good.
Because basically, it's very misleading, I'll be honest with you. Those are my words.
Yep.
Because to my understanding, what someone told me is a little falsification of words.
right.
And that I don't approve of. Or my faith doesn't approve of that. So it's misleading. Because we
Well-
would have came more prepared if we would have understood more. And we were led, it doesn't matter, but we'll get with Jeff and we'll get whatever we need to do.
Yeah, and I would definitely, when you talk to Jeff, talk to him about that property line, because
I will.
something's gonna have to
And
happen.
we've
with
already,
that.
my husband and I already talked about getting it resurveyed.
Yep,
Because we were already looking to do all that because we try to do that every so often just because of, we need to keep it up.
yeah,
So, I mean, it's, when we bought the land out here, we had a reason, and the land was for our granddaughters. Not to have it sit there and get nothing done with it.
right.
at one time, Jeff told you that you could build up to 14 houses. back
Yeah,
there.
that's what he told me.
So,
You could have a little subdivision back there, 14 houses. I said, I don't want 14 houses, I just want 3 houses for my granddaughters. There's a difference.
Right. Yeah, I mean, we understand completely the frustration and everything like that, but
Yeah.
like I said, I would really like Jeff to be here so we can clear that air up with him and, not,
It will get cleared,
yeah, absolutely.
trust me.
thank you.
Thank you for your time.
I appreciate it, and I'm sure we'll get an ordinance of whatever we need,
Yeah,
of what we need. If you have one handy, you can give it to me tonight.
if you
That way I can review it.
call the office, they can give you
Yep,
the
I'll talk
ordinance.
to his
Yep.
assistant,
Yep,
and we'll
Yeah.
get that from her.
yep,
All
absolutely.
right, thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll move to table
Yep.
11C until our next meeting.
Second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on to old business, Parks and Rec Plan 2025.
What page were we on?
Not very far.
I think we were on accessibility, if I'm not mistaken. 16 of the old one. wish Jeff were here.
Yeah. Some of it's a little difficult.
My main question on this was, well, it scores from 1 to 3, all of our parks, and how ADA compliant they are. And my main question, and maybe we need to expand the section to just tick off some goals for each one to make it more ADA accessible. But my main question for Jeff is what improvements are needed in each park to more satisfy the ADA guidelines. And I think that we need to know that before making a plan. So, unless anyone else wants to comment on accessibility or add anything to that, I would just want to come back to that later.
Well, do we know that this is even limited to ADA compliance? I mean, accessibility could be something beyond that. There wasn't any reference as to where these guidelines came from. That was my problem with this section.
Mm-hmm.
Is I don't know who's coming up with 1, 2, and 3 as the guidelines. So maybe it is only ADA. But I think you're right.
Maybe they have a different scoring.
I think Jeff would know where the scoring came from.
So if we could just communicate that request to him, that will help us move further in that section. Yeah, and then the state parks, I just think that's just for information.
Did just side note, did we get do we hire a parks person? A caretaker?
We chose someone. We have not formed the contract yet, and that needs to be approved before they sign it. And then
Gotcha, I was just
then
thought of it with the state park statement.
Yeah, it's close. Another thing, this is a little bit older, and I'm just moving on to the deficiencies analysis on 17 and then looking at the chart on 18. And I noticed like tennis, I thought we had some tennis courts at Flickama. I'm not sure if they're in good repair or anything, but I thought,
In condition.
yeah, not sure if they're in working condition. Maybe that's why it says there's 0, but I know a lot of people play pickleball. Would tennis, does it have to be tennis, or could it be tennis and pickleball? Can they play with the same net? Can they use the same court? Different.
Don't you know all that?
I don't play pickleball. I want to. I just bought a pickleball paddle set, and I've yet to break it open.
I mean, I can honestly say I cannot comment on the rules or regulations of pickleball.
But I don't know
tennis.
many people that play tennis. And I
Yeah.
know a lot of people that play pickleball. So I'm just wondering if they could just be kind of interchangeable, or if we could accommodate both with the same courts. So I think that's a worthwhile question.
Yeah.
We did just add one more pavilion, which is nice. So that will be updated, I hope. Do you guys know where the ice skating rink is?
No.
I don't either. And when it says bike trails, we have a bike trail on technically Apple Avenue, don't we? Isn't that a bike path?
Where would that?
It's like that 6-foot wide
Where at?
asphalt. It's
Never
right
seen
across the street.
it.
I think it's more.
We have,
Yeah, I think it's more classified as a sidewalk,
yeah, maybe it's just a sidewalk.
not a bike trail.
Yeah, it's not very trail-like. But we have Mosquito Creek for trails.
Yeah, that's about it.
That's probably that.
I did look up your pickleball question. Looks like the pickleball uses a smaller net, different zoning, and it fits on about half the size of a tennis court.
Whoa.
Just over half, you can see there.
Huh.
So you could put 4 pickleball courts where you put 1 tennis court.
That's cool.
Yeah.
So they're completely different.
Yeah. Yep.
All right. So we don't have any at all. A lot of times people do like 2 tennis courts. Maybe we could do 1 tennis court and 2 pickleball, like in that same area. Don't know.
And what park was that at? That you were saying?
Oh, that was Flickama.
Okay.
Or we could just do 4 and have, I don't know. I thought there was 2 there, but I think that would be the most ideal place to have it.
I don't see, well, I think that would be a fine idea. Pickleball seems to be gaining traction.
Mm-hmm.
It would be nice to see something different come in.
Yeah. And we did have a request to see if we could put in some kind of a hiking trail at Pine Ridge. So that could take care of that, and I think that would be really nice as a, like our own, it's more nature oriented park than a sports oriented.
How big is Pine Ridge? Do you know the size?
It's good size.
Is it?
It's a good size, yeah.
It is, but
It's a good, it's
a lot of
good
it's
walk.
downhill too.
Well,
So
it's a hiking trail, it's not a
Well,
walking trail.
true. Yeah.
Yeah,
Makes it more
actually,
interesting.
have you walked it?
I haven't walked the.
You haven't walked?
There's no trails.
It's, well, there's a kind of a trail, but it's a rough, but it's a trail from where the parking lot is, back all the way to where it's a clearing of the power lines, and that's where that, but it's all flat, and you actually figure you can try to walk through around and try to, then that's when it goes maybe up or down on the other side. But this one's pretty much flat, this one, from this to the power lines, and this side, the other side, you will have to go up the hill a ways, but it's a good hike, it's a good hike.
So it'd be a good fit.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It makes sense to put one there.
it's good.
And also opportunity for disc golf. I think we just need to find some kind of consultant to map out what might work best. Give them kind of like our ideas of what we want to do, and then they can figure out, okay, how could you fit the most or most efficiently use this space.
I'm not familiar with disc golf, but that kind of, from what I've seen.
Very popular right now.
Right.
And I don't think that wasn't in the survey or anything. This is from years ago, so a lot's changed since then. Also, it would be cool to get some grills out by the pavilion in that area too. And it says golf on here. That's I think a private kind of endeavor, but disc golf, that's way more doable for us. But we don't have a lot of deficiencies. We have a lot of really good amenities in our parks.
Well, when I was looking at this, I tried to find the source for these standards online, and I couldn't find the source, so I'm hoping maybe we can ask Jeff to do some research, and because this was done at least 5 years ago. My guess is the standards have changed, so if we're going to update it, obviously we want to update the standard. So maybe we can ask Jeff to look at that while he's looking at the accessibility source of information.
Yeah.
We may be better off even than we think if the standard has gone down. So,
Have you guys been to Mosquito Creek and done the trails there?
Yeah,
no.
they're not bad. Not bad, but I crashed twice, but
I know
I just learned how to ride a bicycle 3 years ago, so
Cool.
I've never, I ride motorcycles only and cars and trucks, but, when I got on a bicycle, it was tough. But I'm not used to, they got some good trails there. They got some nice trails, but like I said, if you're an expert, you probably do a better job than I did. But
I've only done the beginner one. And it seemed like a little more than beginner. In some parts.
so that's always full, usually in the summertime,
Mhm.
it's always packed.
That's awesome.
Yeah, there's always bikes coming in, bikes going on.
Yeah, constantly.
So for this updated Parks and Rec plan, I feel like we should get more public input. I don't like old input in a new plan, but we need to have a plan in order to get grants.
How do you want to get the public's input?
That's a whole campaign.
Right. I mean, that's,
I don't think
postpone
we.
it more and more if we keep.
Mm-hmm. Well, one thing is you could go to schools and you can have like a board where kids put on there what they want. Like they can just write on a sticky note and have like the different parks and stuff and a picture of the parks so they know what one's what, and ask, what do you want on here? And kind of brainstorm, and then like, okay, now write your idea and then put your thoughts on that board, and then we can go to any public event or anything like that and just
Have
ask
we ever
people.
thought about getting a skateboard area? Or just strictly skateboarding?
You knocked off the bike and now you go straight to the skateboard?
No, I don't skateboard.
Not yet.
Not yet, but
I think the idea you have is great,
Mhm.
but the school year's coming to a close.
yeah.
We're kind of, that would have been a great
That's not
plan.
gonna happen right now.
Right, and we're trying to
But that is a good idea. I just
push this forward and,
We don't want to stall the approval process of this. I
Right,
just
that's what-
think that we need to make maybe part of the plan a yearly or periodic like questionnaire. It's as easy as putting it on the website for some things, but like other areas like the school, you're not going to get input from kids who use the park the most probably unless you go to the school. So I just think we need a plan to continuously get input, and maybe it could be just a QR code at each park with comments and the park survey or something. So people at the park might be more willing to just scan it and make a comment or a suggestion while they're there and thinking about it. That's an easy idea.
Well, to satisfy the public input for now, so that we can move this along, maybe we could either have a special PC meeting or dedicate one of our meetings in the very near future to the parks plan and put it on the website.
Put it on Facebook.
Put it on Facebook, you know, and have a draft of the plan at least available then for people to come in and look at, and make their comments either orally or, you know, notes or whatever it might be.
Yep.
And then we can incorporate that into the plan and then, you know, adopt a continuous input idea that Ben has, and then we can kill the
Two
bird
birds.
that we need to get this done and still, you know, get public input.
I do think a meeting with specifically inviting the public to come talk about the parks would be very beneficial. Even if we had to do a special meeting on another date, I'd be willing to, you know, obviously do an extra meeting.
We have that available.
Yeah, I just think it would be the right way to do it, you know, and that way, if, hey, we put it on the website, put it online, you want to come and give your input. I don't know how many people are gonna, but we did our due diligence to make sure we try to get the public's input.
I do think we need to actually contact some kind of a park development consultant to just look at Pine Ridge and tell them our ideas and to at least let us know like what's feasible to even begin a plan. Because we have ideas, but they're actually going to be able to help direct us a lot better.
I think at one time they were thinking of putting a pavilion out there.
It's already done.
It's already done? Okay.
And we're doing a vault toilet next.
Okay, this is kind of 6-7 months ago, whatever. I was talking to Mr. Holter and John Rabb and everybody, and they were saying, yep, we're gonna have a pavilion out there. Okay.
When did they finish that?
We got pictures of it last week, Monday.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
So-
it's a recent.
It's
It's
like a week and a half ago.
I think it's more popular, I'm not sure, but is it more popular in the wintertime?
Yeah.
Is it sliding
Currently.
down there? Okay.
Yep. You know how Mulligan's Hollow in Grand Haven is? They have like a rope that
Yeah,
pulls you up.
yeah.
That's a hot spot. I would like to see.
It's owned by a township?
The city. It's a city park, and then they
I think
have
it is a city park, yeah.
they have like a little shop down below, and they sell like stuff that helps with sledding or snowboarding or whatever. But they have pull up the park. They have like a lot of.
I haven't been there in a long time, so I don't know what they have got.
It's so popular, and they just have like so many like little things they think of. I just love that. And we could actually have the same thing. I mean, we're not going to be as popular as like Grand Haven, but to do simple things like having a tow kind of like pull you up, that's actually good for even people who like maybe they're in a wheelchair and they want to go sledding. They can hold on and just get back up that way, or they, you know, or kids just get
I can see it,
tired.
yeah.
Old.
We better be careful with the wheelchair because we're looking for lawsuit here. But
Well, they could
because-
just sit in this
yeah,
sledding go.
Yeah, it's just it is helpful to have a tow line there, but again, that's has to be engineered so that nobody going towards that when they're going down. So
It's a thing that they can do though. Like
Yeah,
It's a
maintenance
possibility.
and who runs the one in Granite? Is there somebody operating it?
there's that shop. I think they have. I think they operate that. It's owned by the
Actually,
park, but they get
yeah.
the.
If you put the tow line,
What's that?
It's a private nonprofit. The nonprofit actually runs the hill, the city owns the lodge.
Yeah.
So the city doesn't own the rope,
Right.
the tow rope? That's
And
owned by a
insurance for liability.
nonprofit.
Yeah.
And the city lets them use the land.
if we do the walkway first, I think, because that way, if we put the tow line or thing, they can slide down, then they go another direction to come up. That way, they're not bumping into each other. but I think it would work out, but we do need a good walkway through there, you know, and that would have to be cleared out a little better and make it nice so they can walk through there, but yeah, that's not a bad idea. You know, not a bad idea.
That's the most exciting part. There's like so much that we can do with that, and it's so different from the rest.
Do you use the parks a lot?
Mm-hmm.
You do?
I have a bunch of kids.
Any opinions?
No, I think, you know, the two things that we're gonna have Jeff do, and I would agree that we need to have this, we need to schedule a meeting
Yeah.
for the public input. And then I think we're getting pretty close to a final draft, actually, of the plan.
Absolutely.
That volleyball, it says install a volleyball court, and that was Beals Park, okay. Would there be room for a volleyball court on Sunset Park? Where all that nice beach sand is?
Yeah, but it's sloped.
Yeah, that's
You're
true.
better off at.
There isn't really.
Holiday Park would be
And it's
better
not that
off.
wide of a beach.
People are blanket to blanket there in the summer.
Holiday Park's the only one I can think of that would be wide open for that. If we put a truck in some sand and make a volleyball, you know, and everything. That would probably be ideal because they've got a lot of area right there.
Mhm.
They really do.
Okay.
Well, before we have the public input, we're gonna have to have at least a draft of the plan. So Jeff, to work on the accessibility and this inventory deficiency is, I think is the priority.
Yeah.
And then we can schedule this special meeting for public input, and shortly after that, I think we would have a final draft of the plan.
Yeah, I think, you know, between now and next meeting on June 3rd, Jeff could have us the answers to our questions we have currently.
Yeah.
Mhm.
June 3rd, we get together one more time and release a public meeting.
Yeah.
Second week of June, or whatever works for all of us, but I definitely think that's kind of the route to go.
Mhm. We don't have to hire anybody for anything, like any planning, like with Pine Ridge, before we have. Technically, our plan is like things we want. This is our current plan, but like it can change too.
Is there park consultants out there?
Oh, yeah.
That's actual,
Yeah, and they're good at it.
yeah.
They think of things and opportunities. They look at like what the area is and what it could be best used for, and they have like an idea of how much something will cost. Like,
Sounds like a fun job.
I know, the funnest. And there's things that can cost a lot of money that you wouldn't think would, and other things that are cheap that might be more worth it. But I think with that ADA stuff, and I think we already know kind of like what we want to see in each park. I think that's a good enough plan, but to really actually implement it, that's where we don't have to get that detailed right now.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Look, that's gonna take board action anyway, so that's above our pay grade.
Mm-hmm. I'm good.
I'm good.
And that's it.
We don't need a motion on anything?
I don't think so.
Submitting that to Jeff or?
Yeah, because we're not approving it. It's
Right,
just draft.
no, we're good. Move on to master plan.
I don't even know where to begin with master plan, so I just know we needed the Parks and Rec plan first, so I just focused on that.
I'll move the table of master plan.
I second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Public comments?
We want to hear from you.
Lies.
Input on the pickleball court. Board comments?
I'm about to try pickleball this week. Or next week.
This week.
Maybe the next week after that. But definitely before our next meeting.
Next meeting is June 3rd, 2025. Need a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All in favor?
All right.
Aye.
Aye.